welcome to the good place. And you didn't even have to go through season 3 to get back here.
Yeah. Although I'm also kind of in the middle of season 3. You know what I really like about this activation? That's what we call it, right? Yeah. Is that I knew there would be a lot of fun stuff from our show here, like the trolley question and the almighty burrito and all these things, but I didn't expect the sort of shocking thing that happens when you walk in.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for that, and that's what our show is. It's constantly pulling the rug out from under you and shocking you and making you sort of scream and giggle, and that's what I did when I came in here, and so it's just perfect.
I love the giraffes on the outside is my favorite part.
Yeah, yes.
When you think about where Eleanor and Tahani and the rest of your crew are now in this real world, how do they, assuming they get back together, because of course they have to, how does that happen when they are such different people in their mortal worlds?
Well, I mean, you know, where we begin in season 3 is Eleanor has found Chidi because Michael has laid little carrots out for her. He's tampered a little bit. So, you know, maybe how much can you tamper before you start to lose track of time and space and ruin a sort of interdimensional world? Like, how much can you mess with this chessboard? I think Michael and Janet will learn, and I think the thing about the show that I love and the reason I like when we get back together is because it's such a good example, a good metaphor that we are greater than the sum of our parts. And that's kind of what I think about people as well. When you find like another ball of molecules that balances your ball of molecules and makes you better, when you're separated from them, sometimes you don't evolve as quickly. But when you are linked, it's magnetic. And I think that's how these 4 characters operate. They're just greater than the sum of their parts.
Do you think that's part of what has really attracted fans? I mean, you're at San Diego Comic-Con with this show, which means it's big enough in the realm of pop culture to attract that many fans.
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, this is where the smartest fans come, and everyone knows that. And so, and we make this show. I say we, I'm not like I write it, but I am aware of how our writers conduct themselves, and they put Easter eggs everywhere for this fan base. For the people that pause it, for the people that rewatch it, for the people that are looking at the names of the shops behind us and get the jokes. So it's especially exciting to be here, and I think the theme is really applicable because it's how we work together, how we're supposed to share Earth, and how differences can help one another. And there are a ton of different types of people here, and they're all together celebrating, which is what the good place should be. Maybe Comic-Con is the good place.
I mean, it could be the good place
or
the bad place.
There's so many lines. Yeah, wow.
I mean, talk about waiting 15 hours for the Walking Dead panelists.
Truly, and you're in the sun. It's like everything, yeah. I'm confused.
Speaking of Easter eggs, so if you're watching seasons 1 and 2 to catch up for season 3, what is one of your favorite Easter eggs that you'd like to point people in the right direction to look for?
Ooh, I would say, notice the names of the stores in The Good Place, because when we first get to The Good Place, there's stores like Everything Fits. There's a store called Warm Blankets. There's a store called All the Books. All the signs in the background have a joke inside them, and also the props. If you can ever pause and insert, you'll see that, you know, in season 2, when we start studying with Chidi, all of our notebooks, each individual person's notebook is crafted for them. Like Jason Mendoza, who's a numbskull, he in his notebook writes in 3 different colors pen, and at the top of every page he writes Jason Mendoza, age 27. Like, those are everywhere. The one thing I would say to definitely look for is pause it and take your time with the frozen yogurt flavors in season 2. What we did is we shot a plate of about 100 of them that the writers had written, and then they wrote about 300 more, and our VFX guy, David Neednagel, made the screen go up so it looked like there were 400 flavors, and they're beautiful. Like, the flavors are like full cell phone battery charge, an afternoon nap, and when you taste that frozen yogurt, that's what you feel like.
I need both of those right now.
Let's do it.
Thank you so much for joining me, and welcome back to The Good Place. Thank you.
Hey, hi.
Hi, David.
Hi,
Nice to
Jameela.
meet you.
So nice to meet you. What a great shirt.
Thank you. Well, beneath it is sexy Jeff Goldblum.
Oh my God, that's the best T-shirt ever. You win Comic-Con.
Thanks. I mean, hold on, let me just do one more. There he is.
Oh, okay. Well, now,
There's sexy
now
Jeff
you're being
Goldblum.
inappropriate.
Oh, okay. So, Where are Tahani and Jason?
Where are Tahani and Jason? I cannot tell you any of those answers.
Okay.
You are just going to have to wait until season 3 to find out. But the hope is that they will be able to come together with Kristen and Will's characters. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And what do you still love
I'm
about
so
this?
sorry that I still can't ever answer questions about the season that's
That's
upcoming.
okay.
It's just that Mike Schur is here, and I think he has a taser, and I'm afraid of him, so I'm not going to tell you any secrets, because while I like you, you're just not worth it.
That's fine, even with a cool t-shirt.
Even with a cool t-shirt.
Thank you. I think we're done here then.
But you forgot to notice that I came to Comic-Con in cosplay as myself.
Perfect.
Very meta, very Tahani,
It's very
to
perfect.
cosplay as herself. Pathetic and weird.
I love it. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you. Oh, whoa. That was really weird.
Good. Hello.
It's no secret you are a legend of TV comedies. What sets this apart from everything else you've done and makes it special?
Now, see, if I respond with false humility to that setup, or I go, yes, yes, it's a no-win situation. So I could barely hear what you just said. What's your question?
Oh, no. What sets the series apart from everything else you've done in your career, having done all these legendary comedies and series?
Well, without doing comparisons, what I love about this show is it's about being decent. It's about that your actions matter, there are consequences. There's a ripple effect. Everything you do goes out into the universe and does a little bit of good or a little bit of bad, and you are answerable. And I love that. And I love that kind of ethical conversation is wrapped in a 9-year-old fart sense of humor and sprinkled with visual magic so you know you're someplace different. And it's just this great combination.
Can we trust anything as an audience? Can we trust anything Michael tells us?
Well, that's interesting. I don't want to give that away. But you've definitely seen Michael on the road to being humanized, and he loves his friend. I think you can pretty much count on that.
Good. Thank you so much. Pretty much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Nice
Take care.
talking.
Welcome to the Good Place.
Thank you.
Hey, Janet.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi there.
How does season 3 begin?
Okay, so and then what happened?
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Wait till you guys see. I'm sorry for spoiling it for you.
Yeah, it is I can't tell you a damn thing, but you don't want to know, right? If any of those things in season 1 or 2 had been spoiled for you, wouldn't you have been bummed? Yeah.
When you are out on the street, now that you're this very iconic character that's known for being useful in all situations, how many people just come up to you and say, as I just did, "Hey, Janet"?
Occasionally, but it's not. It's nice. I don't mind. Nobody is. I mean, the nice thing about playing a nice character is like people are nice. I'm sure if you played a villain or I imagine that playing a villain would be harder just walking down the street because people do have a hard time separating you from your character. But playing, people are nice. People that watch the show are nice.
Has it been fun then to take on the role of Bad Janet
Yeah.
as well and sort of flex that different muscle?
Totally. The fact that I get to, I never know how much I'll be playing Bad Janet in a season, and even if she just dips in for a second, I'm like, even just getting to do this activation video, I love playing Bad Janet. I love her outfit, I love her wig, I love her badass attitude.
Yeah.
And it's, within regular Janet, there's so many different sort of types of regular Janet. There's like, different levels of in the reboot. But Bad Janet is like a totally different thing. It's not even a Janet. I mean, it's a Janet, but it's a bad Janet.
Right.
It's like the opposite of Janet. So that's very fun.
The anti-Janet.
Yes, the anti-Janet. Yeah.
You've worked now for 2 seasons with Ted Danson. What is it like working with a comedy legend like that, and what do you give each other in scenes?
Okay. Which one is Ted?
Oh, the white Michael.
Yes, Michael. Okay, Michael. Ted Danson is the best scene partner that lives on Earth. He is like when it's hard to explain The cast, it's hard to even explain because it's talking about acting is really goofy and it's like
Inside baseball.
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
But he is the most willing participant in whatever you guys create together, whatever you throw at him, whatever he throws at you. It's like he's just the best person in the world, and I love getting to act with him. In season 3, we get to do a lot together. I mean, we always have, but this has been, I feel like we got especially, close or whatever. Our humans we got a lot of time together, which was great. He's the funniest person in the world. You know what I mean? He just knows comedy, baby.
But what's the deal with your characters? There's something going on between Janet and Michael.
What do you mean?
She's a little frosty to him the last couple episodes.
Okay, well, she's figuring herself out. You know what I mean? She's like, things are happening, things are changing. She's like, Michael's dropping bombs on her about that she used to be in love with Jason, and it's kind of changing things inside of her. So she's like a bit of a emotional teenager right now, and we'll see where that leads in season 3.
Awesome. That's a great way to end it. Let's go get some more of these shrimps.
Yeah.
Bye.
No.
So guys, thanks for joining us here at The Good Place.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
And you didn't even have to go through a whole other season of the series to get here.
No, not at all. No. It's right here for us.
Yeah.
Already.
What's it like being here at San Diego Comic-Con for a show like this that doesn't seem to technically fit the mold of what appears at Comic-Con?
Well, I feel like Comic-Con is evolving and is becoming more open to different genres of TV and film. And I remember speaking to some OG Comic-Coners and how they feel about that. And some are excited about it. Some are like, it's supposed to be about comics. But just seeing the panel was amazing because a lot of people actually dig the show. They like the show. And I don't know, for some reason that just really got to me, how much people really love it.
Well, I think, the comic book world is sort of expanding into TV and film in a way that, we haven't seen before, and is, I think that's a lot of people's sort of entrance into those worlds, and I feel like our show probably adds on to that because it is sort of a sci-fi comic fantasy, and it sort of leans into some of the style of the things that get celebrated and exposed out here, and so I feel like this is exactly where we should be, and our fans are super insightful and smart, and I feel like a lot of people who really go in for comic book stories and for sci-fi and fantasy, they tend to be really smart and astute and pick things out.
How do you feel about your characters moving from this good place, if it is a good place, which it isn't, I suppose, back into the mortal realm? As actors, it was so fun to play in that sandbox of imagination, but now you're back in the real world. What is that like?
Yeah, I see where you're getting at, because when you're in the good place, there are no limits in regards to what you can do. But now that when you're on Earth, there are certain boundaries that you have to abide by and certain rules. But that's not to say that we can still be weird and crazy. I can't say anything else without revealing anything, so I'm just going to stop right there.
All right. Well, you've all gone on into the mortal world again. If you all end up finding each other, how does that happen given what different lives you led as mortals? What can you say about what might bring you back together?
I can say nothing about that. We can say absolutely nothing about
I
it.
want to so badly say what would, but I can't.
Okay.
But let's just say friendship is a strong thing in the good place.
What do you think, this series has just been such a big hit, what do you think it is about these characters and about the show in general that has resonated with fans?
I think there's a celebration of optimism and seeing the good in people and pursuing the good in the world, and And I feel like maybe, you know, in media in the last decade or so has been a big celebration of the anti-hero and of the person that serves themselves and perhaps isn't worthy of admiration that we somehow root for. And I think that, you know, I think it's partly a pendulum shift to a kind of optimism that I think we probably just need.
Yeah, very much. Totally agree. Yeah.
Jason, now I can't think of how to say his name. Giannu.
Yeah.
In the first few episodes, you're completely silent.
Yeah.
How refreshing was it to actually finally be able to say something?
Well, for the most part, I think the first few episodes, it was kind of the easiest job in the world to not have to really do anything except for watch these legends play make-believe. And it was also a good way of kind of getting slowly kind of figuring things out. I wasn't just like dropped in and I didn't and just
spill shrimp everywhere.
But I think it was very much a relief because I remember some camera guys or some of our crew being like, oh man, this guy's just going to be background for the whole run of the show. And then when I actually got to speak and play and do all these crazy things, it was definitely a relief. That's for sure, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us here in The Good Place. And good luck in season 3.
Oh,
thanks. Thank you.
Just say Comic-Con into your Xfinity X1 voice remote to see even more from this year's con.